Buongiorno everyone, welcome to Cansanity. Today I thought I would make pasta carbonara, which is my favorite, our family's favorite pasta dish. I personally love it because it doesn't take a lot of time to prepare and it's just super delicious the evening you make it and excellent as a leftover. So I've already started my pot boiling with water, and I've already added my pasta to that pot. But before I added the pasta, I added some salt, and I use kosher salt, and you add a generous amount of salt to the water. You want to flavor your pasta while it's cooking, and so I always add a generous amount of kosher salt to my pasta boiling water. So it's already been boiled, it's almost ready to go here, and what I did also to prepare so that I can do this video pretty quickly was I prepared my garlic and I actually cooked my bacon. Now usually I use either mild or hot pancetta for my carbonara, but because we're in lockdown here in the country and everybody's not supposed to be going out very much, I use what I had. And so what I used today was bacon. So I sliced up 8 slices of bacon and I pan fried it until it was crisp. And then I put it on a paper towel lined plate just to absorb some of the oil. So now if I was going to use my pancetta, which is what I normally use, I wouldn't bother taking it out of the pan because I'd actually fry the pancetta with a little bit of olive oil. And so, but when you're using bacon, I always take it out of the pan and just let the paper towel absorb some of the oil. So I'm just about to get started here with putting it all together. So I'm just going to turn my oven on, or my stove on, so that I can heat up my frying pan again. So what I'm going to do is add a couple tablespoons of oil to the frying pan, and that's going to contribute to the sauce for the carbonara. So it's not really to fry anything, it's to add flavor to your pasta. So I'm going to add 2 generous tablespoons of olive oil to the pan. A little bit more. And while that's heating up, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the parsley. So in my carbonara, I add bacon or pancetta, garlic and parsley, and some dried chili pepper flakes. And so I had some parsley left over from the stuffing that I was making the other day. And so what I did was I just put it in a measuring cup with water, and then put the parsley in there, and then I just put a bag over top of it. That'll keep really nicely at room temperature for 5 days. And so that's what I usually do when I'm going to use parsley up in a couple days. It'll also keep pretty nicely in the fridge, but if I'm going to use it in a couple days, then this is how I keep my parsley. And when I'm doing my canning and I'm using all kinds of parsley, if I don't have it in the garden, then this is what I do so that I can keep it on my counter while I'm making my sauces. So I'm just going to take that off the parsley there. And I mentioned the other day that when you're using parsley, you can use both the stems and the leaves to flavor your dishes. So I'm just going to take all of that and just save this for my compost. And then I'm just going to slice that up a little bit. I like a lot of parsley in this dish. So you see that some of the leaves are a little bit lighter in color, and that's because I think I put that bag on a little bit too tight, so normally it keeps it like a nice dark green color. So the pan is heated nicely, so I can add my garlic, and so I'm going to add my 6 cloves of garlic. Now usually I like to just slice the garlic, and but you can mince it if you want, or you can have a combination of both minced and sliced. So when I was preparing for this video, I just started mincing away and I thought, oh, what am I doing? I usually just slice this. So halfway through I switched to just slicing up the garlic, and I'm just going to run my knife through it a little bit more just so that it's a little bit smaller, but I actually like in this pasta dish to have chunks of garlic. So preferably I would use sliced garlic rather than minced. You can do both. So my pan is nice and hot, and so I'm just going to add my garlic to the pan and get a nice sizzle there going. And now you only want to cook the garlic for a minute. You want to make sure that you don't burn the garlic, because that'll change the flavor quite a lot. So just throw the garlic in there, and I just have this at medium, and stir that up. And even while that garlic is cooking, I'll throw my bacon back into the pan and just stir that up. And while that's cooking away, I'll just get back to my parsley, and I will slice that up a little bit, chop it up a little bit finer. I like to use this knife or my bigger knives. Now, if you don't want to bother cutting up your parsley really fine, that's fine. Chunks of parsley in this dish is amazing, so you really don't have to worry too much about the size of the parsley. I would just suggest that you plan to put at least a cup of parsley into this dish, because it's fantastic in the dish. So now I usually add about a teaspoon or more of hot chili flakes, and so I'm just going to add that. Get that heated through. My garlic's all ready, and the chili flakes have just started to release their flavor. And so now it's been about a minute. I'm going to add my white wine. I add about a half a cup to 2/3 of a cup of white wine. Let that cook up a little bit. And as the white wine cooks, it'll release the alcohol. And so, if you don't prefer not to put alcohol in your dishes, it's not going to, you're not going to have alcohol in it after a couple minutes, because that's going to cook off. Now, my parsley's ready, my pasta's cooked, and so I'm just going to grab my oven mitts, and I'm going to pour off my pasta water. But before I do that, this is an important important tip. You have to take some of the cooking water, pasta cooking water, to add to 3 egg yolks that you've just whisked up. So I'm just going to take a cup of pasta cooking water. And you know what? This is a rough estimate in the amount. If you're a little bit over a cup or a little under, it's not going to matter too much. You don't need a measuring cup. You can use a teacup or a coffee mug to grab your cooking water. So now that that's been cooked for a little bit, I'm going to add my parsley right to the pan. You can put this, if you'd rather not cook the parsley, you can just add the raw parsley to the pasta dish after you put the pasta in, but I usually like to add it to the bacon and the garlic. And I just saute that up a little bit. And that doesn't take very long to cook down. And then I just shut that off. So that's done. And now all I have to do is drain my pasta and mix up my sauce. So I'm just going to drain my pasta, and I cooked about a pound of spaghetti. So I'm just going to drain that off. I'm going to add it to my favorite pasta bowl. Don't rinse it, you want the salt on the pasta. So there's my pasta, ready to go. Now I'm going to add my cooking water slowly to your egg yolks. You don't want to add it all at once because it will actually cook the egg yolks. So just add about a tablespoon and whisk it up. Add about a tablespoon and whisk it up. Now if you want it to be a thicker sauce, you keep it a little bit under the cup measurement. But if you don't mind it a little bit of a runny sauce, then you would add a little bit more. So I've added about 2/3 of a cup of hot water, pasta cooking water to those egg yolks. And now I'm going to add everything together. So I also grated up a cup of fresh Parmesan, and so I'm going to add that to the pasta at the same time. So I'm just add a little bit of that. I'm going to add the yolk with the water. I'm going to grab my utensils here and just mix that up a bit, and you'll see that the pasta will just start to get a little covered with the sauce, and it'll cook that egg yolk a little bit because you put that on when the pasta is smoking hot. And then you add a little bit more cheese. And then I just take what I have in the pan, and look how beautiful that is with all the green and all the bacon and all that garlic, beautiful garlic. And I add that right to my pasta. And then I just mix that up. Turn it over. And then I add a little bit more of the Parmesan. And then we usually serve this with Parmesan as well. But you saw that I added a whole cup's worth of Parmesan cheese, so it's not lacking for flavor. And we'll just put a little bit of that on top. And there you go. That's your pasta carbonara.